I wanted to talk a little bit about the intersection of sales and customer service. I was raised by a dad who was sort of the classic salesperson. He played baseball when he was young, and in the off season, he was a sales rep in the athletic industry. He went on to start his own business, and to his credit, it was successful because of what he knew about sales. And I grew up just knowing that way of being. As I got older and started working in the business and being around a bigger variety of sales reps and seeing all the all the variation, because sales can be sort of a collection point, right? You have all kinds of people landing there, and therefore you have all kinds of ways of doing it. And I started to see the differences between what I was always sort of um, taught by immersion versus how other people practiced. And I think of people who talk about, oh, I could sell ice to an Eskimo. I'd be such a good salesperson. And I just always get so icked out because to me, that's manipulation. And I suppose that can be sales in some ways, but ew, nobody likes that. Nobody wants to be sold on something. And there's something about that feeling of I got something over on somebody. I talked them into buying something. I convinced them into something that maybe was or probably was not good for them or right for them at that time. I was always taught to connect with people. Um, and indeed, when I found my footing in sales, was when I realized it's not really about sales. I just need to know my product really well. And then I need to be able to talk about it with authority. And that's it. And either the person who's listening likes it or they don't. And that's okay. And where that intersects with what I do now is, I think, kind of interesting because a lot of people do think of real estate as a sales job. And, honestly, when it most feels like sales to me is when I'm talking to another agent about one of my listings. But the thing is, again, it goes back to how I define sales. I know my product really well, and then I talk about it with authority, and that's it. And if it's not right for that buyer, that's okay because there's another buyer for whom it will be right. But the idea of trying to convince somebody to do something that they're maybe not fully on board with is just icky, icky to me. And I'm not going to spend my life in an icky feeling job. So I think there's a really key difference, and that is what informs everything about how I work. And that is why my focus is service, both as in customer service, in the sense of how can I make this easier for you? How can I assist you? What do you need? Do you need information? Do you need resources? What can we do to help you feel heard and respected? So it is a customer service to me more than it is sales, but it is also service in the sense of this is how I serve my community. I often find myself in this work in some very special and precious and tender moments with my clients. Some people are selling for really happy reasons or buying for really happy reasons, and sometimes not. Sometimes it's something a little more tender. Perhaps there's been a loss and they're downsizing, or perhaps somebody is not able to live independently anymore and they need to let go of their home. And to be in that presence, to be at that kitchen table and to see this person that you're speaking with be moved to tears over the loss of independence, or it is a fragile thing that needs to be honored. And when I think of the idea of sales intersecting with that, it's upsetting. it's repulsive to me. Um, and that's what informs my work. This is my service to other people. How can I help you make this transition? How can I support you as you move through this difficult thing? It is service from my heart, and it is customer service in making sure you have what you need. And it all comes down to my core values of doing everything I can to ensure people are respected and heard and seen, and somebody's holding space for them. Um, it's just such a privilege that I am sometimes really moved about things that happen, by things that happen while I'm working. And I just feel very, very privileged to be doing something where there's this much meaning that feeds the soul. So I think people can get burnt out when it's all about numbers and it's all about how many transactions and what was your sales goal, and have you hit your target. And I think that strips the humanity out of a process that is intrinsically human. Um, and I'm not going to say I don't pay attention to things like that, because I think we all have markers that we set for ourselves. But for me, this is first and foremost about serving people. And that's what makes me excited to wake up every morning and come to work. Um, it's a deep privilege. And I really am so thankful for the families who allow me into this space. And I work hard to honor that and respect that privilege. So I just thought I'd expand on that a little bit. And I hope to have the privilege of serving you.